anything can happen. But to have that mentality is so important. So important. Alright. To bring it back to change, I was gonna ask you one of the questions I wrote down was like, what do you think is gonna be the biggest change we're gonna see in the next 10 years or in our lifetime that you think no one is prepared for? You think when everyone's walking around like it's Daisyland, when this thing hits, we'll be like the Fire Nation attacked.
I think we'll awaken to just how rigged everything is.
Like our systems.
Yeah, we're going to wake up to the system, but it'll be too late, like it always is. Because AI will take over a lot. It's even making music and art. Like it's doing this stuff. They always say, "Oh, AI will do the manual labor, the shitty job," and then we'll have time to be creative and reflect and be philosophical. It turns out it does that better than 99% of people as well. That's true. So we just had a big whoopsie there.
As an artist, that's a shit out of me.
Yeah, like it does that really well. So it's gonna lead to all sorts of, oh, I own this and you can't use my voice for that, or everyone's gonna be bickering and bickering and bickering and bickering the next few years, decades. Someone's gonna go, you know what, fuck this. Like press the big red button. Like we're gonna have a war, but the system will be broken and we're gonna be staring right into it. And the moment our eyes gets too sore because we've been staring at it forever, the second we just close them, take a step back and see the abyss for what it is, that we've been sort of enslaved mentally, that at that point it would have been too late. We would have already been logged in online, or we would have already signed. How many things on a day-to-day basis you click accept and continue, or terms and conditions? They could have added you agree to be a slave from year. I don't know.
They can't actually make that happen. Like they can't.
I know.
They can say that, but I think the scary thing is.
But if you get a letter, right? I don't know if you've ever received a letter from the council. It's terrifying. They put shit in big red letters. You have to pay the remaining balance, and it's like you may have missed 1 month of council tax, like one single payment of 150, and then they slap oh, you missed this, now you have to pay the amount for the full year. And you're like, what the fuck? Or we're sending men to your house. They can send men to your house to take shit. Yeah, you understand? So you think if they, because people nowadays speak freely, they have ideas, they know how to action these ideas, they know how to make people who are poor wealthier, and they get called to speak in Congress, what were you thinking, and that's so offensive, and we have time limits, but they speak for 10 minutes and you have 30 seconds. They can call you in for all kinds of shit.
And he's just
who knows how much of yourself you've exposed through looking into your phone, i.e. the camera or your laptop, whilst you're watching. Who knows how much you've already put yourself physically in prison. Mentally, it's a lot. But physically, it's just one call away. It's one knock on your door, and we think it's not going to happen to us. Speak to the people in Russia or China who were sent to slave work camps, death camps. You think they weren't fucking comfortable? You think they were saying we didn't agree to that. We didn't write. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't fucking matter.
I don't think to push back because that's a very gloomy fucking future. You just hate it. To push back, I feel like the idea that people can turn on each other has been a universal idea, and we know that's possible. The help of AI and technology is all it is going to divide us more. Divide and conquer, usually, as they say. I think AI has the benefit of being singular, they don't have emotions to deal with. So if an AI goes, oh, another AI, pass me the information about this fucking guy so I can get him off the map. They're not gonna give a fuck. They'll collude. But to us, I feel like our advantage as human beings is our ability to learn from our mistakes and just also be self-preservatory.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you're right. If it comes to a stage where we turn communist, I don't know how we would do that. But we turn communist
very quickly.
very quickly. I think what would happen is that the systems will crumble so quickly. There'll be no the group that could have control over the rest of us. So it might be anarchy. It might be like Africa or like all these South American countries.
Liberia.
Where it's like, yes, it's a government, but like really, like it's just some guy who wears a suit. Like that fucking guy wears a suit. He's not really a government.
Yeah. It's like
it's a job more than
yeah.
a power structure.
Yeah.
Because the structures of all collapsed. I think, but I do think, to answer my own question, I think AI is going to change the whole game. I think we need to stop looking at AI as like the inevitable end and start looking at it as like the upgrade the human beings have been waiting for. Because if you just check the time, like since whatever, I think the world, because we always say the world was best in like the 80s or the 90s, just before we had technology. Yeah. And I think there's a reason for that is that we were like at our peak in terms of comfortability, in terms of like peace. We had so much peace that we created on top of systems, many better systems. And then we got to a stage where it's like, oh, how about we create technology? That'll be fun. And then we made phones and iPads and all of this shit, and then downhill ever since. And then, but what tends to happen is that now we're in the systems. Our kids are like our brothers and sisters. They're used to these systems. They grow up online. All it is just one jump from being digitally there to AI, and then it's over. But before then, like we have all these knowledge and all these, and I think what's gonna happen is gonna be a split. Most people there's gonna be spending their time 100% online. People out in the wilderness just driving around America and like going to the Grand Canyon, just doing what the fuck they want in life.
And we'll only meet like at a convenience store and go, oh, like how was your online day? Or we'll have like wristbands. And what side are you on? And it's just gonna be weird.
Because it's gonna be like digital like real estate online too. So it's like, oh, like you live where? Like, no, I live in the actual London. I live in London on virtual. Like I have a 3D house.
I live in London in 1426.
Yeah.
I'm the Lord. And meanwhile it's this big fat Mexican kid with like circles in his eyes, like, and he's like Lord Baron of Doncaster.
Which is scary.
Online.
I mean, it's scary because change is always scary to human beings when we can't control it. And again, this comes back to the point of the whole episode, which is change. Like change comes in different forms: personal change, humanity change, environmental change, physical change, like all these different types of changes. And I think that it will be very interesting. Like we said, don't struggle against the change. Don't resist the change. It is what happened. Like there is just all these new people turning up, and I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. Like these are people being morphed by technology. Like you meet people like you grew up on the internet. Like you have no real life like attributes. They don't have to socialize. They don't have to like look people in the eye. You can't do any of these things.
Yeah, they don't know. Like when if you ask me for a drink, and I say, yeah, sure, be on your table in a couple minutes. You don't look at me after 5 seconds with your fucking 7-year-old kid who's running around like, can you get our drinks? I literally had to shout at a kid the other day. Like, but I spoke to him. I spoke to his mother, but at him.
What did you say?
I said, yes, my friend, like, give me a couple minutes. Be patient, okay? And I called him man, like, be patient, man. But he was with his mum, and he's like a 7-year-old, and he was like a few feet away from the table. But I told him, like, be patient, man, it's coming. Like, sit down, you know? But why do I have to? You two are both putting me in a position where I have to speak like an arsehole now because you can't wait 3 minutes for your fucking Fanta?
Fanta. I mean, you really just like that interaction. But yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. Very interesting to see the progress that's made in the future. And before we end it, before we close it up, I always like to leave this time with the guest, whoever comes in. to ask a question.
Oh shit.
So while I just ramble on about what we talked about, I want you to think of a question, and then like ask me a question. Like I've asked you questions today. But yeah, I think
What's the scariest thing you can maybe do, but that you're putting off that you could do this year?
when you say scary, what do you mean?
What's something
To me
where, like,
personally,
moving away, going abroad for a while,
I think that's
a
yeah.
relationship, like, what's something where you're putting off in your mind because you think it's scary?
I think I think we spoke about this before. I don't know if scary is the right word, but I think it's important. So I put it off. But like definitely, I want to what I want to do in my life for the rest of my life
Mm.
is just do these things: record, write, travel, spend great time with people. I don't want to go to a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to do all of these things I have to do. I think the scary thing would be like actually actualizing that, action in that, going like the safety is cool, the comfort is cool, but getting rid of all of that and then doing what I have to do. I think the
Mm.
scary, if I had to say, comes from that. Like I could do that and I'll be fine, but there's people that rely on me, and if I do that, I have to make sure they're okay. And that's the only thing that stops me from doing that. And I guess
Mm.
that's a pull and pull. I can't not do something because someone else is gonna have a problem with it because
Mm.
that's not living my own life. I'm living their life. But also, I have as a man, I just have full responsible for the people that I am responsible for, and I've always been responsible for them. So it's not like a new thing. So to me, it's like if I can find a way to do that, then the question comes: am I scared to do it? Because now I put that thing ahead of it. I'm
Mm.
not even facing it really, because the facing it will come like, okay, now you have no excuse. You got to do it. And I think that's the this year's goal is to get to the stage where I'm comfortable enough.
Mm.
You just go like not comfortable, but like challenged enough, or like I've gained enough XP to be like I can do this, and like be comfortable with myself, getting in the money, getting in what I need, not being like we said, being okay with the unknown. Taking that step, going to another country and being okay with the unknown, and then
Yeah.
stop listening to people, man. Don't listen to people. Fuck people, man, because they'll tell you things. I realize people will tell you things as advice, but it's them manifesting their fear.
Yeah.
It's their own fear, and that they think if they fear it, you must also fear it. So like, why would you do it without that? And I'm like, no, I don't fear that at all. That's actually the thing to look forward to most. The uncomfortableness, the being out in place, having to struggle. That's what I look forward to.
The person you want to be, unless you're in the room with them, don't listen to who the fuck is in the room.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Like, if you're not with the people you want to be with or respect
Mm-hmm.
or admire,
Mm-hmm.
get the fuck out of that room.